Sneako joined YouTube at age 14 on April the 9th of 2013. He would start his YouTube journey with COD videos, which became a vehicle for thought-provoking discussions about government policy amongst other topics. The strange medium through which he talked about deep political topics, coupled with the fact that he was a mere age of 14, instilled the idea that there was a genius in the making. Now, 9 years later, Sneako's name is attached to much controversy and notoriety, but there's reason to believe that he may be the most misunderstood man on YouTube. If you're more left-leaning, Sneako's behaviour comes across as neurotic. He's always screaming, making fun of people's looks.
This guy literally looks like a fucking whale. You look disgusting. You look absolutely appalling to look at.
And using slurs.
I don't hate gay people, but I love the word
If you're more right-leaning, you might agree with Sneako's ideas, but why would you opt to consume his videos when there are more civilized and sophisticated speakers for the side? The thing is, on the surface, Sneako is a ball of negativity, not grounded in anything. However, once you get past this initial disdain, you see the psychology and genius behind it. Sneako has always been a seeker of the truth. Some people choose to provide a more productive discourse and stimulate intellectual conversation, but we're in the age of the internet where people's attention spans are low and only the most polarizing content gets pushed out. Sneako knows this. He has unmasked the truth for himself and chooses to spread it through entertainment fodder. He wants you, the viewer, to be entertained first and foremost, and so he doesn't need to go through the effort of disproving someone. This has evidently worked. He is able to extract a visceral reaction from his viewers. We've seen comedy get ruined in recent years, but Sneako is a giant pulsating fuck you to the politically correct society we live in now, and there is freedom in his comedy.
It's relentless, racist, homophobic, I don't give a fuck, childish humor, because that's what's really funny.
He has not let it be corrupted by cancel culture. His jokes are uncomfortable truths.
You see how they all look exactly the same? I'm pointing this out. This is part of the brainwashing. If you look like this, if you have low testosterone, if you don't want to go to the gym, if you want to, this is dumb, this is bad, they just look like different versions of Ethan Decline.
You either understand the genius of Sneako or you don't, which is why there is such a big divide on him. He has remained consistent to his motto of seek truth through funny.
Being a comedian isn't just standing in front of a brick wall and telling jokes. It's also what I do now. This is comedy. Admittedly a strange form of it, but if you look at it, I'm entertaining thousands of people through comedy every day.
In 2019, Sneako started a series called 1 Minute Podcast, which would take place on the New York subway, and he would ask random people their takes on certain political topics.
What's up? Welcome back. We're in West 4th Street Station once again, and I'm asking people about the they them pronouns, about gender, trans, all that.
Sneako has always shown this thirst for truth and political discourse. He has always been championing certain beliefs, such as why feminism is bad.
People are like, oh, you're not a feminist? Feminism is for equality for both genders, so why isn't it called humanism?
This is very interesting, since Sneako didn't have the privilege of growing up in the self-improvement era. He didn't grow up in the echo chambers of self-improvement gurus. Instead, he was left to his own resources to find out the truth. Andrew Tate became famous during 2022, and Sneako affirmed a liking towards him since he agreed with many of his views. There's nothing wrong with that, right? With Tate's rapid, growing uprise, people misconstrued this liking to dick riding.
I don't think Sneako would have even heard of until his daddy Tate came along to hold his hand.
And he was a victim to the bandwagon effect. This is a wide misconception, since Sneako has always been his own person, and if you actually watch his content, you would see that he actually speaks on more issues than Tate does.
Who's more likely to shoot each other over a dice game? A white person or a black person? Who's more likely to get into a street fight bumping into each other on the street? A white person or a black person? A Asian person or a black person? These are just truths. You are able to make generalizations and stereotypes about any other race, but the protected class is black people.
Sneako's past is a consistent theme in people's dislike for him. His teenage videos hold sentimental value for people, not allowing space to accept his more evolved content. but more particularly his later videos in which he admitted to cheating on his girlfriend.
What did she want from the relationship that you couldn't give her? If you're gone for like more than 3 weeks, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's time to, you know, I want
3 weeks though. Come on, man.
3 weeks is a long time. 3 weeks is a long time to not see anybody. Like, that's a long.
And especially this interview.
We're on the same bed. I was with his girl. He was with my girl.
You
like
was
right here.
on the bed?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
So what did I couldn't, like, it was, I was literally having PTSD watching that. I was like having war flash. Like I just.
So did they?
For some reason, these two situations have decreased his credibility for most and are constantly weaponized against him. We know that Sneako is not shy about stirring up conversation when it comes to political ideologies, and this is exactly what he was trying to do with his personal ups and downs, with everyone free to have an opinion, since this is how society can really grow. His transparency was not appreciated but berated, especially in this picture-perfect society we live in, where image is so carefully constructed in order to keep you sheltered away from the truth. Sneako's whole brand is about growing and learning. We can see this from the Hamza controversy, where he went from this,
yeah, wake up at 5 a.m., get buff, yeah, just on my grind, and I'm reading books and helping my self-development,
to this.
So I'm glad that I had this beef with Hamza, because even though he said a lot of personal things about me, even though he went too far for me making some gay jokes about him stretching, I needed to hear that at that time, and it forced me to improve.
This intolerance to his freedom to have conversations would soon grow until his eventual ban. On October the 3rd, Sneako's channels were fully removed. The reason for his ban is way deeper than you think. We live in times where critical thinking has gone out of the window, and this,
What you really need, Chad, is some
is deemed as sexual assault. I mean, take a moment and ask yourself whether this is sexual assault. In today's society, the overturned window has contracted so much, only leaving the ideas of the left to be accepted into the conversation. The whole point of YouTube was to extend the right to freedom of ideas. But how can we exercise this right if there is someone waiting to ban you if you do? We no longer live in a place where disagreeing is okay, but rather opinions are seen as microaggressions and direct attacks.
Incorrect or bigoted ideas is as more harmless left-wing creators.
where it's a right-leaning idea to say that there's two genders. This is a conspiracy theory?
Vomiting purely hateful conspiracies to an audience.
When you have already chosen that anything against the status quo is incorrect and bigoted ideas, where is the room to debate?
Yes, I think the platforms have every right to do what they want. It's kind of like if you're using their vehicle, you gotta respect them. You know what I mean? You gotta respect their rules and regulations. It's their vehicle.
Of course, there should be limits to free speech, but letting big tech, who are motivated by ad revenue, be the decider on these limits is destructive to society. BlackRock is now the biggest institutional investor in most of big tech, such as Google, Facebook, Twitter, and Amazon. Due to BlackRock, companies now have an ESG score where you have a rating system based on your company's political and social facades. So silencing any controversial political views on social media will help you get the high ESG score. Our politics and society is dictated by investment boards controlled by BlackRock, and Sneako has been a victim to this.
I have a misinformation strike on my channel. Why did they give me a strike and silence me for nudity when all I do is talk? Because they don't want you to hear this. So then think to the next step. Why don't they want you to hear this? Why is this information such a threat to the agenda they're trying to push? That's why they censor it. That's why they delete it. Because it's the truth, and they don't want you to know the truth. They want you to be dumb, stupid, and weak so that they can take away all your energy, so you become slower, so that they get richer while we get dumber.